Good morning everyone and Sairam. So welcome back once again. Students, in this video we will continue history chapter number 2, that is Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. But before proceeding further, let's take a quick recap what we have learned in the previous part of this chapter. So we learned that the liberals, social democrats, socialist revolutionary, along with the workers, they demanded a constitution. Then we saw for the Russian workers, bad time started from the year of 1904 as the prices of essential goods rose and the real prices was declined by 20%. Then four members or we can say four workers were dismissed at the Putilov Iron Works and it became a call for industrial action. Almost 110,000 workers they went on strike in the St. Petersburg and they demanded reduction in working hours to 8 hours, increase in wages and improvement in the working condition. Then we learned on January, large number of peaceful workers led by Father Gapon. Father Gapon led the demonstrator to the Winter Palace. So when the workers reached the Winter Palace, they were attacked by the police. Almost 100 workers were killed. 300 workers were wounded. So this incident took place on Sunday. It was known as Bloody Sunday. So the incident of Bloody Sunday, they brought many workers on street. Then we learned Third Duma. The Third Duma was created with conservative politicians. So as I told you, First Duma was dismissed within the 75 days. Second Duma re-elected within 30 days and the Third Duma was created with the conservative politician. Then First World War. So in 1914 the First World War broke out and this World War fought between the European countries. So during the First World War, Europe was divided into the Central and Allied powers. Then Tsar. Tsar became unpopular in Russia. War affected industries too. Then the February Revolution took place in Petrograd in 1970. Soldiers too supported the demonstrator and then finally Tsar was abdicated. On 2nd March, Tsar was abdicated. Then Soviet and the Duma leaders they formed provisional government. So after the fall of Tsar, provisional government came into the power. Clear? So this is what we have learned in the previous part of this chapter. So now let's continue to the next topic. The Revolution of October 1917. So as I said, after the fall of Tsar, provisional government basically Soviet and the Duma leaders together they formed provisional government. So after the fall of Tsar, provisional governments came into the power. But as the conflict between the provisional government and the Bolshevik grew, Lenin was scared. Who was Lenin? Lenin was the leader of Bolshevik party. So he was scared. He just felt that provisional government would set up dictatorship in Russia. In September, he began discussion for an uprising against the provisional government. So those who were the supporter of Bolshevik, like in army, officials and the factories, they all were brought together. Then on 16th October 1917, clear? On 16th October 1917, Lenin persuaded the Petrograd Soviet and the Bolshevik party. Now persuaded to agree to the socialist seizure to power. So in order to organize the seizure, Soviet appointed a military revolutionary committee under the leadership of Leon Trotsky. Clear? Who appointed military revolutionary committee? Soviet, under the leadership of Leon Trotsky. Clear? Then now finally the uprising against provisional government was begun on 24th October. When it was begin? On 24th October. But sensing trouble was occurred, Prime Minister Kerensky, he had left the city. Now who was Kerensky? He was the Prime Minister during the time of October Revolution. So he had left the city to the summoned troops. Now at the early morning, military men who was loyal to the provisional government, he had seized two buildings of Bolshevik newspaper. Pro-government sent troops to took over the telephone and telegraph offices and protected the Winter Palace. So, in the swift response, the Military Revolutionary Committee, which was appointed by Soviet under the leadership of Leon Trotsky. So, the Military Revolutionary Committee ordered its supporter to seize government offices and arrest ministers. Then, late the day, the ship Aurora shelled the Winter Palace, and by the end of the day, the city was under the control of committee and ministers had surrendered themselves. So at the meeting of All Russian Congress of Soviet, the majority basically approved the Bolshevik action. Now this uprising took place in other cities too. There were heavy fighting, especially in Moscow. And then finally by December, the Bolsheviks controlled the Moscow and the Petrograd area, that means the St. Petersburg. Clear? Now, move on to the next topic. What changed after October? Now, let's read the changes took place after the Bolshevik gained power in Russia. So, as we learned earlier in the previous part of this chapter, when the Lenin returned to the Russia from his exile, so he demanded three things. First, war should be ended. Clear? Second, land transferred to the peasants, and third one is the bank should be nationalized. Clear? So after the October Revolution, so first change took place. Many industries and banks were nationalized in November 1919. Clear? Many industries and banks were nationalized in November 1917. Basically, the government took over their ownership and management. Now, second change took place. Land was declared social property. So the peasant, they started to seize the lands from the rich landlords or the nobles. In cities, large houses were partitions, basically according to the family requirements. Next change, many new uniforms were designed for the army and the officials. Now, as we already discussed that Lenin also wanted that Bolshevik party was renamed as the Communist Party. So after the October Revolution, Bolshevik party was renamed as the Russian Communist Party. Clear? Bolshevik party was renamed as the Russian Communist Party. Then in November 1970, Bolshevik conducted election for the Constituent Assembly, but they were failed to gain the majority support. Then in January 1980, Assembly rejected Bolshevik measure. So the Lenin dismissed Assembly. Actually, Lenin, he just felt that all Russian Congress of Soviet were more Democrats than the Assembly elected in uncertain condition. Then in March 1918, the Bolshevik made peace with Germany. They basically the agreement with the Germany at Brest-Litovsk, despite opposition from their political alliances. Clear? Then over the year, Bolshevik became the only party to participate in the elections to the All-Russian Congress of Soviet that was become the parliament of the government. So basically Russia became one party state. Now after that, those who criticized the Bolshevik or those who against the Bolshevik, they were punished by the secret police. And now secret police were called the Cheka, and later it was also called OGPU and NKVD. Clear? So the secret police were called Cheka. Now trade unions were kept under the party control, that means the Bolshevik party under control. Many young writers and the artisans also favored the Bolshevik party. Basically they just felt that this party stood for the socialism and change. But however, many became disillusioned with the party because of the censorship that the party encouraged. So is it clear about the October Revolution? So first of all, October Revolution took place in 1970. It was led by Lenin and Leon Trotsky. And the important effect of the October Revolution: first, the fall of provisional government, and the second, Russia adopted socialism. Clear? Now, next topic, the Civil War. Okay, so after the Bolshevik gained power, the internal upheaval in the country increased. The Civil War. First of all, at that time in Russian army, most of the soldiers, they were peasants, right? So when the Bolshevik leader Lenin ordered the land redistribution, so the Russian army began to break up. Now, peasants, those who were soldiers in the Russian army, they wished to go home for the redistribution and deserted. So that's why the Russian army began to break up, because now soldier wanted to go home for the redistribution and deserted. Now second thing is, non-Bolshevik socialists, liberals and the supporter of autocracy, they condemned the Bolshevik uprising. Now their leaders, they moved to the South Russia and organized troops to fight the Bolsheviks. And during the time of 1918 and 1990, the entire Russia was controlled by Greens and the Whites. Greens, socialist revolutionaries, right? And the Whites, pro-Tsarist, supporter of Tsar. Basically, they both were, the Greens and the White, they both against the Bolshevik. Clear? Now, they were also supported by the French, American, Britain and the Japanese troops. So they together they just organized their troops to fight the Bolshevik. Actually, they all were worried about the growth of socialism in Russia. So that's why they start civil war with the Bolshevik. Is it clear? So first of all, Bolsheviks, they were the Reds. And who were the Greens? Socialist, revolutionary and Whites, pro-Tsarist. So who were the Whites and Greens? So first of all, Whites and Greens, they were against the Bolshevik. Second, they fought civil war against the Bolshevik and they were supported by French, American, Britain and the Japanese troop. So all these troops, basically the Greens, Whites and the supporters, that means French, American, Britain and Japanese troops, they all against the Bolshevik. So all these troops and Bolshevik fought a civil war. Now the supporter of private property among Whites took harsh steps with peasants who had seized land. Such actions led to the loss of popular support for the non-Bolshevik. Then by January 1920, the Bolshevik controlled most of the former Russian Empire, and they succeeded due to the cooperation with non-Russian nationalists and the Muslim Jihadists. Jihadists, they were the Muslim reformer within the Russian Empire. But the cooperation did not work, where the Russian colonies themselves turned Bolshevik. Then Bolshevik colonies brutally killed local nationalists in the name of defending socialism. So basically in this situation, many were confused about what the Bolshevik government represented. Then partly to remedy this, most non-Russian nationalists were given political autonomy in the Soviet Union. Autonomy means the right to govern themselves. Autonomy means the right to govern themselves. So non-Russian nationalists were given political autonomy in the Soviet Union, USSR, the state the Bolsheviks created from the Russian Empire in December 1922. So USSR state was created by Bolshevik in December 1922. But since this was combined with unpopular policies that the Bolshevik forced the local government to follow, like the harsh discouragement of nomadism, attempt to win over different nationalists were only partly successful. Is it clear? Okay, now rest of the topic we will discuss in the next video. So that's it for this part. Okay, now let's discuss few question answer related to this topic. Now first question is, the uprising of the Russian Revolution began on dash. So the options are: first 24th October 1917, option B 24th October 1918, and option C 24th October 1919. So when uprising began against the provisional government on 24th October 1917, option A. Now next question, who were the Greens and the White? First of all, Greens, the socialist revolutionary, and the White pro-Tsarist, basically the supporter of Tsar. So they all were against the Bolsheviks. They fought civil war with the Bolshevik, and they were also supported by the America, Britain, and the Japanese troops. Basically they all were worried about the growth of socialism in Russia. Clear? Now next question, the secret police were called. So basically they had also secret police. Those who criticized the Bolshevik, they were punished by the secret police. So the secret police were also called: first Cheka, option B Duma, and third option is Stalin. So the secret police were called Cheka. Option A. Now the next question, question number 4. Many industries and banks were nationalized in November dash. That means in which year? Options are: option A 1940, then 1960, and the next option is 1970. So when industries and banks were nationalized? Yes, option C, in 1970. So after that the government basically took over their ownership and management. So that's it. Then we will meet you in next video. Till then, bye, take care and keep learning.